All right, all right, all right. Greetings, one and all. Just letting CouchBot kick in a little bit. Hope you're all doing well this evening. Watching you file in here on the Discord channel. It's good to have you. Just making a short announcement before we get this underway. All right. So we're just sitting in a slight holding pattern for CouchBot. I am super happy, super excited to have this one together for our weekly workshop, our final weekly workshop for 2019. Super excited for everything that we have coming up in 2020. But we'll let CouchBot fire away, and then we will see where it takes us here in just a moment. I'm also going to take a moment to fire off another stream, if you will. We'll let CouchBot, come on CouchBot, do your thing. We're just going to take a peek over at YouTube and make sure that we are live. YouTube did a API update I think it was last week. Really messed up CouchBot. So the good news is YouTube is showing us live right now. So unfortunately, I'm going to have a bit of an echo for half a second. All right, so there's that. And while we're waiting on CouchBot, we will right. So we've got that out. It looks like CouchBot has fired away, so that's good. That means we can get this train out of the station. All right. Thank you. Thanks everybody for joining me for this weekly workshop. We are going to be spending our time this evening working through how to design effective product pages. If you've spent much time online through the holiday season, you've probably come across product pages that are in all sorts of different states of effectiveness. Some of them work really well, others not so much. And as a consumer, we tend to approach these experiences in a slightly different mindset from a designer. As a consumer, we want the product that is being sold, or the service that's being sold from that page, more than we care about necessarily care about the effectiveness of that page. It takes an awful lot to make us just completely abandon the process. But that doesn't mean that there isn't a drop-off. That doesn't mean that we don't negatively impact the satisfaction of the user actually getting that service or that product. So I'm going to take a little bit of time tonight to break down the different ways that you can go about making this a more satisfying experience for the users that come to your site. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we will get this underway. So this is designing effective product pages, and we're going to focus tonight on 6 key elements that really impact how your page or your service, the product or service, is received. And if you have questions as we're going, I want to encourage you to utilize the Discord channel. If you're new here or you're watching the recording of this, know that there is a new Pragmatic Discord channel that you can participate in as we go, and you can ask questions at all the way through the program. So the guiding principles that I want to really focus on tonight are the product itself, photography, social proof, scannable descriptions, CTAs, and clear pricing. We're going to focus on 6 key elements that will really make a big impact on how people receive your product or the page. And the first one is obviously focus. There should be no confusion about what is going on when somebody lands on your product page. Here is an example from Brooks Running, and it's pretty clear. Everything that's associated with what's on the screen right now is associated with this particular running shoe. It all comes down to helpful information regarding the shipping, the name of the shoe, the price of the shoe, the different options or colors of the shoe, different photos of the shoe, the ability to see the shoe larger. Everything is about this particular shoe. And this is really important because we don't want to get confused about what it is that we're being sold when we land on one of these pages. And we'll look at some options where other things sneak their way in. But if you're working with a client and they've got this idea for upselling you into other elements, push back and remind them that the focus is on selling a particular product, and because you always have the opportunity to upsell later. Nike is another brand that does a really good job of really focusing on the singular product. Great use of photography really throughout, clear controls. Everything is really utilizing a nice clean grid. You really get a sense of what the shoe looks like from a multitude of different angles. And I really, in a lot of ways, I like this more than the Brooks option because with the Brooks option, you have to think to click the other angles. Here, it's just presented to you, and this gets us really to the second principle of effective product pages, and that's photography. Regardless of what it is that you're selling, effective photography is going to draw in more customers, and they want to see it in different ways. And I'll jump into what I mean by that in a second. A lot of sites that you'll work on are like shopping sites where they'll be presenting hundreds of items. Yet when you get down to the product page, it's all about, can I see that particular item in different ways? Here, we're seeing it on different models. Here, we're also seeing it in a studio shot. We're also seeing it outside. They are, this Bohemian Trader site is really trying to show you different ways that you could wear this garment. And I think that's really important. Rather than showing you the same shot and the same lighting, it's allowing you to see the item in action. I'm less of a fan of the design of the site. It's called The Horse, but I'm really a fan of how they utilize photography on this site. So if I were to click on the bag here, it literally just like wipes everything away and focuses only on the bag. If you hover around, it will zoom in, But the real key here is I'm going to really focus just on the bag. Additionally, I love the surprise moment that you get when you're scrolling through here and you come upon the gigantic photo presentation. It's nearly life size. Now this is lazy loading, so it's not going to slow down the site on first load. I'm just going to scroll back up to the top. On first load, just this top portion of the site is loading. And then as you scroll down, the rest of this begins to load, and that's why this site loads relatively quickly while also having this gigantic photo at the bottom. Now, Rent the Runway is not a site that I immediately pulled out as, ooh, look at the great photography, look at how they're utilizing photos here. But somebody had tipped me off as this is one of their favorite shopping sites, and they explained to me that it really has a robust consumer or customer angle for allowing you to see the photography as it's being used by real people. So I want you to think about people taking Instagram selfies and things like that. Rather than focusing on the actual shape and color of this particular dress, like I said, I was kind of meh when I went to the site. I'm like, I don't get it. But then I went up here to customer photos. And when you go down to customer photos, you get things like this. And this shows, and Rent the Runway is mostly geared toward women who are trying to get glamorous dresses and accessories. But this shows what those things look like in the wild. So like at the dance, at the party, at the grocery store. It's amazing the different types of photos people will upload to show them out and about. I'm pretty sure that she's chilling out in the freezer section somewhere. This is the user-generated content that people are so thirsty for online. They want to see the product in action. They don't want to see the product necessarily just in these staged studio shots. So finding a way to allow for people to submit that in is really key, and it's something to think about when you're talking about do you want to leave a review. Not only is it leaving a review, because this is a review, this one's a short review by comparison with this one. This one's more of a robust review, but it's really about the photo. And user-generated user-submitted photos are a big plus when it comes time to really consider a purchase of a product or service, because, frankly, it's social proof. And studies are out there. 90% and above everything we buy, we look for social proof. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be food, like this is a Yelp site of food, and obviously these shots were posted probably by the restaurant, but you obviously also have the ability to upload photos as a user. But social proof, it's right there. It's right there, and literally the star rating. It's the first thing that we go to, whether it's a restaurant, a book, right there at the top. Anybody ever considered the quality rating of the movie Elf? Of course you have. What's the Rotten Tomatoes score? We're all familiar with social proof. Same thing. Amazon. How many times have you went and specifically sought out the star rating on a product? And this has 2,100 ratings and nearly 700 questions answered about this smartwatch. Now, the importance of social proof is so high that Amazon actually buries it on their site. To give you a sense of where these reviews and ratings are stored at, you have to zoom down the page to an area for customer reviews. And Amazon does the sin that I was talking about earlier. I was searching for a pair of running shoes here, and they've snuck in an ad for Giordano's Pizza. I'm here for the customer reviews. I am not here for the pizza. So when your boss or your colleague tries to get you to sneak in third-party ads because that'll draw a little bit of incremental revenue, just know that it's not enough. It's not enough. And this is an ad for Amazon. So it's an ad to make you buy pizza from Amazon. I got to think that this is a waste of time for them. Additionally, this is the page that was from. And as you look through here, you'll notice I go through 1, 2, 2.5 pages of content before I actually make it to the customer reviews. That's how great social proof is. That's how much we seek it out. That's not a great experience for the user, mind you. This is actually a really terrible experience for the user. Nike does something similar. Here is a Nike, the way Nike positions a very similar product. And as you can see, the social proof for Nike is basically at the end of the main images. Like they have all their images. And another thing that I love is the fact that Nike doesn't put them into a typical carousel. It just shows them. It shows them, so and it makes sure that you don't miss any of them. But as we look here at the social proof for Nike, you'll notice that this isn't you submitting your images to Nike. This is you submitting your images to Instagram and just mentioning Nike. So this is another angle for collecting user-generated images, is having people talk about, or encouraging people to talk about your brand online and then harvesting those back out. I think it's a really smart angle. It also lightens the engineering load a bit, to be completely honest with you. Instead of having to build out a way for people to submit photos, you could just leverage the Instagram API. Or you could just manually pull those over. Whatever you want to do, it's a lighter lift than building your own ingestion engine for people to submit. Additionally, when we're talking about social proof, it doesn't always have to have a photo. Like there's nothing wrong with just having a straight up review rating, some details, and a quote. Like this is just as strong as having the images. And there are a lot of products that might not have an image. Like if you ordered ingredients and I was talking about the quality of the ingredients, I might not necessarily have an image to submit back for the bag of raspberry dust that I got from you or whatever. So reviews really matter. Play them cleanly, give them space, and they'll work well for you. Scannable descriptions. Scannable descriptions are really about elevating and leveraging the content that you have on a particular product and presented it in such a way that it doesn't require the user to dig really hard to get to the information that they are seeking. If you know your user, if you've done your research, you'll know what content they're really after, and that means that you have an editing task ahead of you. You have an editing task to get rid of the information that they don't necessarily need so you can focus it. The comparison here is couldn't be starker. On the left, I have Amazon selling AirPods. On the right, I have Apple selling AirPods. Obviously, Apple is more vested in selling the AirPods than Amazon is because Amazon has like a billion different things to sell, and it's trying to cram every product into the same basic shape. Where Apple is saying, I can take over the entire thing and do a custom design for this specific product. That's the big difference here. That's not to say that Amazon is bad, and that's not to say that Apple is right. It is to point out that they are uniquely different things. One is like a big box store, like a Walmart or Target or any big box store you can think of. The other one is like a boutique that sells 1 to 10 things, and that's all they sell. And they're not gonna clutter their showroom floor with anything else. Let's look at the experience So this is Amazon. You'll notice right away it looks a lot like the shoes because it's the exact same form that's being used. And the social proof is here on page 2, so it's a little shorter. There's a little comparison about the different AirPods that you can buy. But let's look at how Apple presents that same information. Radically different. This is a product page. It's no different than the Amazon page. But it's in digestible chunks. It's large images. It's broken down into like everything that you would want to know about the AirPods is here. It is missing social proof. I'm not gonna hide behind it. There is no rating listed in this particular area of the product page. So it's missing. And that's one thing I would point out. All these guiding principles, I rarely see them all at the same time. I either see great photography and a little bit of social proof. I could even say the pricing here is obscured because there's no price listed until you say I want to buy it, and we'll show that in a minute. Look, how could we get any different? Well, let's talk about bathtubs. I know that bathtubs seem pretty obtuse, but when you're comparing them, I've been talking about Apple. All right, and Apple is, it's always easy to get picked on in design when you talk about Apple because of course Apple's great, of course they spend a lot of time presenting their products in a very beautiful manner, but what about a bathtub? I've got Home Depot and Amazon here, and as you can see, Home Depot and Amazon are both showing you toilets and faucets and comparison charts. And for some reason, I've got an Under Armour ad on the Amazon one. I've got just a lot of stuff that isn't necessarily related to that bathtub. But if I were to go to the bathtub maker site, this is Boots Bathtubs, this is the same tub being presented on the site of the maker. And notice just how much closer it is to the Apple mentality. Yes, there's not a lot of imagery here, but the information is easy to consume. If I was really wanting to do my research, I would probably focus on going to the manufacturer. It is interesting that the manufacturer, if I got it directly from the manufacturer, it's $252. If I got it from Amazon or Best Buy, or not Best Buy, but Home Depot, it is more. Or not it is more, it is less, significantly less. And we'll talk about that pricing aspect here in just a moment. But I was able to pick out the price. I was able to see what the technical specs are, the product information, the related videos. Like I can see all that, even though I'm not zoomed very close to the image itself right now, I can see that from afar. I can't see anything over here. It's just there's just too much. I can't make it out. So these individual manufacturers, they produce stronger scannable pages because they're more vested. They have fewer products to sell, so of course they're going to present them in a more attractive way. Having clear call to actions or CTAs is it seems like an obvious thing, but a lot of people hinge on, oh, you want me to put a button on there, got it. And it's like, well, it's not just the button. This is also about what does the button say? This is also about the information around the button. All the things that go into making it easy for me to say, yes, I want to buy that. Yes, I want to sign up for your service. Yes, I want that thing. So here's one of the first options that popped into mind. I said, Audible's a pretty good platform. I wonder what their product is like on like the homepage. And when you talk about services like Audible, the product is signing up for a service where you can select titles as you go. And as you look at this, get 3 titles from Audible on us, and there's this click the try Audible free button here in the middle. It's frankly kind of messy. There's like a lot of stuff going on. If anything, I really think that this button should probably be larger. Maybe sign in with your Amazon account should be in here so that button could be larger. We could clean this up. I don't really feel like it's a fantastic way to kind of introduce me to the brand. On the flip side, we have Spotify. Spotify, view plans. That's the only thing up here. Yes, I could go click on help or sign up or log in, but the thing that's the black button with the white type inside is view plans. That's clearly what they're trying to get me to do. And that is an obvious call to action. You know, it does help. Try premium free for 3 months. View the plans. Simple, lightweight, easy to understand. Oaklandish, t-shirt brand that I follow from the Bay Area. You know, it's pretty clear that aside from selecting a size, which I have, I selected that small, then I got this gold button available to me. Without selecting a size, the button is gray. This is pretty clear to me that what I should do is I should go through here and select a size, and then I go down to add to cart. That add to cart thing, it seems obvious to you and me that it should be above the fold. But if I go over here, obviously I'm a slide ahead of myself, but here's Daily Harvest. And we've seen a couple of items from Daily Harvest already. Daily Harvest is basically a smoothie ordering service. It's very clear that Get Started is really the only thing that I can click here. There's no other call to actions here. You know, it tells me the benefits. It kind of says, hey, you know what? Do you need digestive support or immunity boosting or anti-inflammatory foods? Well, you should get started here. Like it's walking you up. Like it's saying, here are the benefits. You should get started. Rather than saving the benefits for later or moving the benefits up to the top, it's strategically packaged those together to say, hey, you know, do you want immunity boosting? You should get started. You should click right here. Back to Apple. Apple shows us a really good example of a flow to get us to the point. Here we are. We're looking at the Mac Mini. And the Mac Mini is just sitting there in the middle of the screen. Looks like a hockey puck. Looks like an Apple TV, to be honest with you. Re-engineered in no small way. The only thing that we are drawn to click on here is this blue buy button right here. If we click on that, it takes us to a screen that is very sparse. It says, choose your Mac Mini. Now, when I first saw this, I thought I was supposed to like click on one or the other. But it scrolls. And when it scrolls, you can either click select for the $7.99 model or click select for the $10.99 model. Either way you go, it's pretty clear it's one or the other. I also like the fact that they use color for action. So if I wanted to contact somebody, it's the blue link. Get started, it's the blue link. Learn more, it's the blue link. It's very consistent all the way through. If I want to learn more about daily cash back, can do it right there. Now, we're back here at the bathtub. And if you've got questions as we're going, feel free to jump into the general channel. I'm watching. I know Luigi's in there. Shane's hanging out. I see a few of you lurking around. This is a bathtub. This is a $145 bathtub. And I am looking at it right now. And this is a screenshot that I took, and I could not for the life of me figure out how to buy this bathtub. And that is because you have to scroll down. You can pick it up in store, or they can deliver it to you. Either way, it's not on the screen when you actually open up the site, Home Depot. There's plenty of room to do this. It's not like this would be something hard to slide in. But because it's hidden from view of the user, this is not an obvious action. Because we're trained over here on Amazon that we can always add it to cart because it's always on screen because it's always at the top. I can add it to cart, I can buy now. But it's more than just adding it to cart and buying now. It's also free delivery. It's also, there's only one in stock. So these little bits of information help the user make a determination on, oh man, only one in stock, I better get it right now. And I say that knowing that some companies, like Booking.com, abuse this. Oh, that hotel just sold out. You can't use that one anymore. I hate those. That sort of usage I hate. This, when there's one left in stock, my thought is when there's none left in stock, I get the opportunity to continue and say, well, email me when it is in stock. There's some actual benefit to being able to view this information. But this is helpful information that has been included that helps me determine what action I'm going to take. The final piece of the puzzle is pricing. And I can't tell you how many times I found it frustrating looking at a site or looking at a service and wanting to utilize a service or site, but feeling like I couldn't trust or find the pricing information. So sometimes it's very easy. As much as I bagged on Home Depot for hiding the buy button, I do appreciate the fact that the largest thing on the screen is the price. It's $145. I appreciate that. That makes it a much easier decision. Remember, from the Boots side, it was $100 more for the same bathtub. It makes it easy to do that comparison shopping. Additionally, look at Apple. Everything else here is basically the same. Same image of the computer, same 6% cash back, same select button. It's the price difference. And yes, there are some detailed differences to the element above. Like you got a quad core and a 6 core. I get that, but it's the price difference that jumps out. And then once we see the price difference, then we look, oh well, why is this one $300 more than that one? And then we go through the details. This is a hotel site in Ibiza, and I really appreciate it when there's clarity to not only the price, what's flexible, what isn't, but also what are the taxes. I don't know what the tax rate is in Ibiza. So the fact that they've included those in the nightly charge is helpful to me as a traveler because it's all rolled up right there. Simplifying these things for a user, it's what Steve Krug talks about in the book Don't Make Me Think. Literally, don't make them think. If I click on this in the States, half the time it's like, oh, and now you have a $35 resort fee or some other hidden fee. Don't make them think. Make it simple. Make it clear. Push your peers, push your bosses to make pricing and basically just anything involving a product or service transparent, so it's easier for people to make decisions. And then finally, this is Rent the Runway again. And while I talked about it, I like their customer photos. I also like the fact that they really focused in on, they've got 2 ways that you can do this. You can have a monthly membership, or you can rent it once. And you can rent this jacket here for $60 to $70. You can rent it for 4 days. I'm sure that the price depends on where you live at, because it's like if I got to ship it to Arizona, it's different than shipping it to Virginia. But this unlimited $69 a month trial a month, this really lays it out clearly what my options are. There is no upsell intended for later. It's either I want to reserve it for a couple of days, or I want to do it. I want to get this, and I want to be able to get as many things over and over and over again as I want. So if you are ready, if you're watching this and you're ready to take the next evolutionary step in your design career, I invite you to join us over at newpragmatic.com. If you have questions, you can obviously attach them to the bottom of this YouTube video, or you can email me directly, chris@newpragmatic.com. And that's it for our weekly workshop tonight. I hope you found this to be informative, and I hope to see you all in the feedback loop tomorrow morning. Take care.